You know the specific texture of this fatigue. It isn't the heavy, warm drowsiness that comes after a day of honest physical labor, the kind that promises deep sleep. No, this is a vibrating, static-filled exhaustion. It is the sensation of your body being heavy as lead, while your mind is spinning at 10,000 revolutions per minute. You lie down to rest, but your brain treats the silence not as a sanctuary, but as a vacuum to be filled with every unresolved variable of your life. We call this burnout, or we call it stress, but those words have become so diluted by marketing that they've lost their diagnostic power. Psychologically, what you are experiencing is not a lack of energy, it is a surplus of processing. You are suffering from a cognitive debt that sleep cannot repay. You have likely spent the last few months, or perhaps years, trying to solve an internal emotional equation using only your executive function, your ability to plan, focus, and execute. But the brain was not designed to run high-level threat detection and complex problem-solving simultaneously 24 hours a day without a reset. You are trying to heal a system failure with a nap. And the reason you feel like you are losing your mind is that your biology is screaming that you are unsafe, while your logic is telling you to just relax. Let's dismantle this mechanism. Let's look at why you are so tired and why closing your eyes isn't working. To understand this state, we have to look at the concept of allostatic load. In psychology, this refers to the wear and tear on the body that accumulates as an individual is exposed to repeated or chronic stress. Every time you force yourself to answer an email when you are depleted, every time you code switch in a social situation, every time you suppress a flash of irritation to remain professional, you are paying a metabolic tax. For the modern millennial or Gen Z mind, this tax is being levied every few seconds. We exist in an attention economy that fractures our focus into microscopic shards. This leads to what neuroscientists call directed attention fatigue. Your inhibitory mechanisms, the parts of your brain responsible for blocking out distractions and regulating emotions, are simply offline. This is why, when you are this exhausted, you don't just feel tired, you feel emotionally brittle. You feel weepy at a commercial, or filled with sudden white-hot rage because you dropped a spoon. The psychological trap here is the rest paradox. When we reach this state of cognitive overload, our instinct is to stop moving. We lie on the couch, we scroll, we binge-watch. We call this relaxing. But neurologically, this is not rest. This is just passive consumption. Your brain is still processing input. It is still decoding symbols, tracking narratives, and comparing your life to the curated lives on the screen. You are feeding the machine that is eating you. The default mode network, the part of the brain active when you aren't focused on the outside world, is often associated with rumination and self-referential thought. When you are exhausted but not engaged, this network lights up. It begins to replay your failures. It simulates future catastrophes. It asks the unanswerable questions: am I doing enough? Why do I feel so empty when I have everything I asked for? This is the cruelty of modern exhaustion. The more tired you become, the less capable you are of regulating the negative thoughts that keep you awake. It is a feedback loop. Cortisol keeps you vigilant because your brain interprets your exhaustion as vulnerability to a predator. You cannot sleep because your body believes it is currently being hunted by your own to-do list. We have conflated numbing out with resting. Numbing is an anesthetic. It pauses the pain. Rest is a restorative process. It heals the tissue. You have been anesthetizing yourself for years, wondering why the wound underneath is still bleeding. So, how do we break a loop that is wired into our survival instincts? The answer lies in shifting from cognitive management to sensory gating. You cannot think your way out of a problem created by overthinking. You must bypass the prefrontal cortex and speak directly to the nervous system. True psychological rest requires a state of low demand. This means removing the requirement to process new information. It is not about doing nothing. It is about doing something that requires zero executive function. This is why manual tasks, folding laundry, walking without a podcast, staring at a fire, feel so strangely healing. They allow the task-positive network of the brain to disengage without handing the keys over to the ruminating default mode network. You must reintroduce white space into your cognition. Currently, your day is a solid block of data. You need to puncture it with moments of non-computation. This is the practice of non-sleep deep rest, NSDR. It is the deliberate act of disengaging from the sensory flood. Consider the concept of completion. Much of your exhaustion comes from open loops, tasks started but not finished, emails read but not replied to, emotions felt but not processed. The brain hates open loops. It holds on to them, burning energy to keep them in your working memory. To rest, you must close the tabs. This might mean writing everything down on a physical piece of paper to offload it from your working memory. It might mean accepting that you will disappoint someone today, and that their disappointment is not a threat to your survival. You have to manually override the alarm system. You have to look at the pile of work and say, "This is a problem for tomorrow," and actually believe it. The rebuilding process is slow. It requires you to stop treating your energy like a limitless resource and start treating it like a bank account that is currently overdrawn. You cannot spend what you do not have. If you continue to borrow against your future energy, the bankruptcy will be physical, and it will be total. You must learn to tolerate the anxiety of doing less. That anxiety you feel when you stop? That is the withdrawal symptom of your addiction to productivity. Sit with it. Let it scream. Eventually, the brain realizes the tiger isn't coming. Eventually, the nervous system exhales. There is a version of you that exists beneath the noise. A version that is not defined by output or salary or the speed of your response. That version of you is waiting for you to come home. But you cannot find them if you are constantly running. Recovery is not a hack. It is a biological imperative. You are not a machine that needs to be fixed so it can get back to work. You are a human being who needs to be held, even if the only one holding you is the silence of your own room. The world will keep spinning if you close your eyes. Let it spin without you for a while.